and I also like to thank Ashok for inviting me here. So I'll be talking about dynamical simulation and assessment of combustion model for SCI combustion. So the part of this work I did while I was doing a postdoc in Kyoto University, and I'm still continuing this work after joining IIT Goa. Okay. So the outline of this talk would be, I'll giving some introduction related to the background of SCI engine, what are its limitations. Then here the mainly work was done with the syngas combustion. So I'll give a brief overview of syngas and the major objective of the present study. Then I'll describe the DNS setup that we have used to understand the syngas SCI combustion. Further, the governing equation that we have used here, and then we'll move on to understand the effect of fuel composition on the evolution of heat release rate and other reactive scalars in syngas mixture, and then thermal and composition correlation and its effect on heat release rate. Then we'll move on to the modeling aspect, and here I'll be talking about the premix condition and moment closure model, some validation studies, and with that I'll conclude. Okay, so homogeneous charge compression ignition combustion was found to be one of the most promising alternative engine concept due to its potential to achieve ultra low emissions. However, as compared to other CI engines, however, it has not been fully realized yet because it suffers from various limitations such as excessive heat release rate, excessive pressure rise, and controlling ignition timing. In general, SCI combustion is mainly governed by the chemical kinetics of fuel air mixture, temperature, pressure, and equivalence ratio. Some stratification in terms of thermal and composition will, to a certain degree, will reduce the rapid rise in heat release rate, but it gives us various mode of heat release rate. So it's very important to understand different mode of heat release rate if we use thermal and composition stratification in SCI engine. Also, syngas was found to be one of the attractive alternative fuel in order to reduce emission from practical combustor. And syngas is mainly produced from the gasification process of coal, biomass, organic waste, and refinery residuals. These are the major constituents of syngas, and the composition may vary widely, and it depends upon the gasifying agents that we are using. Among the various constituents, H2, CO, and CH4 are the combustible gases, whereas CO2, N2, and H2 act as a diluent. So the major objective of this study is to understand the combustion characteristics of syngas if it is used as a fuel in SCI combustion using DNS investigation. Further understand the effect of thermal and composition stratification on the evolution of heat release rate for syngas SCI combustion, and explore the modeling aspect of SCI combustion using an advanced combustion model, which is premix condition and moment closure model. So this is a DNS setup that we have used for the study here. This is a 2D computational domain which represents a control volume inside the cylinder. Here the periodic boundary condition has been provided along all the direction. Number of grids selected were 960 by 960 in the axial and the radial direction respectively, and it resulted in a grid resolution of 4.3 micrometer, which was sufficiently small enough to resolve the thin flame structure that arises from this high pressure condition. All the parameters that was considered here for the DNS study are closely related to the practical engine conditions. Here, to generate the turbulence field, this energy spectrum was used, and the turbulence field was superimposed on zero mean velocity field. To generate the temperature, random temperature spots, hot and cold spots, and random temperature field, similar temperature energy spectrum was used, and the temperature field that was generated was superimposed on mean temperature field of 1070 Kelvin. This is the initial temperature field for a particular case that was obtained using this process. Here for the syngas combustion, we have used a detailed chemistry which consists of 21 species and 93 reactions. And for this study, we have only considered the composition of syngas as H2 and CO. We have neglected other compositions. Here, initially, we have performed the study with a different fuel composition by varying the percentage of H2 and CO for a particular temperature fluctuation. And in another set of study for a particular syngas composition, we have considered different variation of temperature fluctuation. So these are the governing equations that were used here in this study. So here we have used an in-house code which solved the compressible Navier-Stokes equation, and along with the species and enthalpy equations. Here the algorithm was Speicher-based semi-implicit solver that we have used here. To discretize the convective term in the momentum equation, we have used sixth order accurate central difference scheme, where for the enthalpy and species convective terms were discretized in Winnow scheme, mainly to avoid the unphysical oscillations. The other terms, such as the diffusion term in the enthalpy and species equation and the viscous term in the momentum equation, were solved using second order accurate central difference scheme. An RK method was used for third order RK method was used for time integration. The source term in the species equation was handled using Arrhenius formulation and using VOD solvers. So initially, 0D calculation was performed in order to understand the evolution of heat release rate and other reactive scalar for different mixture of syngas. These four figures shows the temporal evolution of heat release rate, species mass fraction, temperature, and reaction rate of some of the important species such as H2O2 and HO2 for two different syngas mixture. So in the SAI combustion, the production and the ignition characteristics are mainly governed by the production and consumption of species H2O2. Initially, at low temperature, H2O2 formation takes place, then it remains relatively inert. After 1100 Kelvin, it decomposes through this exothermic reaction, which liberates significant amount of heat release. This phenomena was observed in both the syngas mixture. However, small variation in percentage of composition resulted in significant variation in the evolution of reactive scalars, such that increase in percentage of hydrogen from 50% to 70% resulted in significant increase in heat release rate, and it was mainly because of high energy content of hydrogen. Also, for low hydrogen content syngas mixture, the consumption of the fuel component H2 and CO was found to be quite slow, as shown in this figure. Here, from these two figures, we can also see that the consumption rate of CO is also governed by the intermediate species, production of intermediate species HO2. The primary reaction that governs the CO oxidation rate is reaction 1, whereas for the H2CO system, the oxidation rate of CO is mainly governed by reaction 2 and 3. So hence, lower the concentration of hydrogen in the syngas mixture will decrease the concentration of HO2, production of HO2, which further will decrease the oxidation of CO. So hence, overall, the oxidation of rate of low hydrogen content syngas mixture was decreases by several factors as compared to high hydrogen content syngas mixture. Now, we have performed the 2D DNS investigation, and for these two syngas mixture, these two figures shows the temporal evolution of heat release rate, species mass fraction for both the mixture. Here we can see that the evolution of mean heat release rate as well as the reactive scalars are distributed with time. This is because in case of 2D DNS, the deflagration wave plays an important role along with the spontaneous ignition, unlike our 0D calculation, which resulted in decrease in peak heat release rate and decrease in peak production of intermediate formation of intermediate species, which are H2O2 and HO2. These are the isocontours of heat release rate for two different mixture at 3 different instant of time, corresponding to 10% and 50% of peak mean heat release rate and at the time of peak mean heat release rate. Now, initially in both the mixture, the ignition kernel develops at the location of maximum temperature region. Then it expand and consume the neighboring charges. Is that large number of reaction zone gets developed and heat release occurs in both thin and thick regions. However, the large difference in the time instant in the evolution of heat release rate indicate that for low hydrogen content syngas mixture, the evolution of local heat release rate was quite slow because of decrease in burning velocity with decrease in hydrogen percentage in syngas mixture. Further study was performed to understand the effect of temperature fluctuation in the evolution of heat release rate. These are the isocontours of heat release rate for 3 different instants of time and for 3 different cases. Is that for 3 different level of temperature fluctuations. So as we have seen before, here also we can observe that for all the 3 cases, ignition kernel develop at the location of maximum temperature region and it expand and consume the neighboring charges. However, for high level of temperature fluctuation, you can see that the ignition is occurring, there is an onset of ignition quite early as compared to other 2 cases. This figure shows the temporal evolution of mean heat release rate for 3 different level of temperature fluctuation. Here a qualitative analysis was performed based on the definition of Damkona number to distinguish between these 2 modes of heat release, the deflagration mode and the spontaneous mode. So here the Damkona number was defined as the ratio of the reaction term to the diffusion term of H2 transport equation. And this criteria was obtained at the location of maximum temperature gradient where the diffusion time almost balances the reaction term, which indicate deflagration mode of ignition. And if the Damkona number is very, very high, then it indicates the spontaneous mode of ignition. This figure shows the fraction of heat release rate from deflagration mode. As we can see that with increase in temperature fluctuation, the fraction of heat release from deflagration mode increases by a significant amount, and this resulted in decrease in peak heat release rate and increase in spreading of heat release rate with increase in temperature fluctuation. Further, the effect of different correlation between temperature and composition field was investigated in the evolution of heat release rate by considering 3 different cases. Case 1 indicates that is a base case, indicates constant equivalence ratio for a range of temperature variation, whereas case B indicates the temperature and the composition fields are negatively correlated. And case C indicates the temperature and the composition field are uncorrelated. These 2 scenario occurs near the top dead center prior to the main ignition event because of the various factors such as ignition timing, exhaust gas circulation, and wall heat loss. The negative correlation occurs, we can see when there is an insufficient mixing between the fresh charge and the hot gases which contains excess oxygen. Whereas the uncorrelated case, we can see when there is a advancement in injection timing in combination of exhaust gas circulation and turbulence mixing. So these are the these 2 figures shows the initial temperature field and the composition field for negatively correlated case. Similar energy spectrum was used to generate the variation in the composition field. And here 3 different cases were studied by keeping the temperature fluctuation constant and for a particular level of fuel composition. So these are the isocontours for 3 different cases. Here you can see that for case B, which indicate the negatively correlated case, there is no ignition kernel at the initial instant of time. Whereas, as we move further downstream with respect to time, we can see that ignition occurs spontaneously. Means homogeneous ignition is occurring, okay, as compared to other 2 cases. Here, this figure shows the mean heat release rate obtained from 3 different cases, and this is the fraction of heat release rate obtained from the deflagration case. Same criteria was used here to distinguish between these 2 modes of ignition in these 3 cases. Here you can see that for case B is the negatively correlated case. There is a significant increase in peak heat release rate as compared to other 2 cases, and this was mainly because of the spontaneous mode of ignition which become dominant as compared to deflagration mode of ignition in case of when temperature and composition field are negatively correlated. However, For other two cases, we can see there is a almost equal contribution from deflagration mode and spontaneous mode of ignition in the evolution of heat release. Okay, so now we will move on to the modeling aspect of premix flame. So here I'll give a brief overview of a premix conditioner moment closure model. In premix flame, we use a non-dimensional parameter which is known as a progress variable, which defines burnt and unburnt surfaces. Okay. So the detailed definition of this progress variable I'll consider later on in later slides. So in this figure, these scatters are the scalar values such as species mass fraction or temperature in the progress variable space. Now, if we perform simple averaging of these scatters over the progress variable space, we'll get a single curve which is termed as unconditional averaging. However, if we divide this progress variable space into n number of bins and perform averaging separately, we'll get a curve which will pass through the middle of the scatters. This curve is a function derived as a conditional averaging. So the conditional species mass fraction Q is defined as a instantaneous species mass fraction Y, which is a function of progress variable. This is a governing equation of premix conditioner moment closure model, where the first term is the transient term. Second term arises because the progress variable in case of premix flame is a reactive scalar, unlike mixer fraction when you encounter diffusion or non-premix flame. Third term is the fluctuating components in the physical space, whereas the fourth term is the molecular diffusion term in the physical space, which usually becomes insignificant at high Reynolds number. Fourth is the scalar dissipation term, and fifth is the chemical source term. The major advantage of using premix conditional moment closure model for turbulent flame is that as the fluctuation of reactive scalars such as species mass fraction or temperature are small around the conditional mean, even the first order closure of the reaction source term will give us accurate prediction of flame structure. So now initially the definition of progress variable was being considered based on CO2 mass fraction, is that one of the major product mass fraction, and this is how we have defined a progress variable, and based on this definition the transport equation of the progress variable was derived, which is as follows. And this is a premix conditional moment closure model. Here we have assumed that in this case we have assumed homogeneous conditional statistics. So the other terms which are in the physical space were got neglected. So we end up with all these four terms. Now this is a solution methodology that has been used here, where in the flow solver continuity, momentum, enthalpy and progress variable equations were solved. Then conditional averaging was performed in the progress variable space for all of these quantities. Further, the CMC equation was solved in the conditional quantity, in the progress variable space to obtain the conditional quantity. And the unconditional quantity was further obtained by averaging the conditional quantity with PDF of progress variable and was applied back to the flow solver. Here, for the progress variable, we have used the delta PDF. Now for the flow CMC solver, number of grids selected was 250 by 250 in the axial and radial directions, and in the conditional space, we have used 100 grid points. Here the models for these two terms were not used because the DNS, because the spatial resolution selected for the CMC solver was quite close to the DNS resolution. Only the performance of first order closure of reaction source term was evaluated for different level of temperature fluctuation. So then the predicted CMC heat release rate by the CMC model were compared to the DNS results. These are the isocontours of heat release rate obtained from the DNS result and from the predicted CMC model for 3 different level of temperature fluctuation at 3 different instant of time. So from this contours, we can say qualitatively the predicted heat release rate agreed well with the DNS result. Now, The mean heat release rate predicted by the CMC model were compared with the DNS result as shown in this figure for 3 different level of temperature fluctuation. Here we can see that for low level of temperature fluctuation, the predicted heat release rate agreed very well with the DNS result. However, as the temperature fluctuation increases, there is an over prediction by the CMC model. This is mainly because as for high level of temperature fluctuation, the deflagration mode of ignition becomes dominant and which generate large conditional fluctuation. Now here in this case, we have assumed first order closure of CMC model, which becomes insufficient to close the reaction term for high level of conditional fluctuation. So that's why we are getting over prediction here. Now to overcome this issue, we may have to consider second order CMC model, or we can also use double conditioning CMC approach. The simulation cost for the DNS and the CMC solver was around 1,07,000 and 14,400 CPU hours. Now the definition of progress variable we have considered using O2 mass fraction. This is the definition of progress variable by which we are dividing it, and the transport equation was derived from this definition. Only the difference is the source term that is appearing in the progress variable transport equation. Apart from that, all the conditions such as the solution methodology, number of grid points in the flow and CMC solver, number of conditional spaces that we have used in the progress variable space, then the first order closure, all those conditions were kept same in this case as well. Only here the objective was whether if we change the definition of progress variable to any reactant, means oxidizer, how the predicted heat release rate will get, means how it will behave. So these are the predicted heat release rate for 2 different temperature fluctuation for different definition of progress variable based on CO2 and O2 mass fraction, which are compared with the DNS result. Here you can see that predicted heat release rate, even if we consider different definition, it gives us similar result, and it agrees only with the DNS result. Here the third temperature fluctuation result from third temperature fluctuation was not shown here. Similar prediction were obtained, and also we got over prediction near the in terms of predicted peak mean heat release rate. So to conclude, we have performed a 2D DNS investigation to understand the ignition characteristics of syngas using detailed chemical mechanism. Initially in the 0D calculation, we found that for high hydrogen content syngas mixture, there is a significant amount of heat release rate as compared to low hydrogen content syngas mixture. Also, the oxidation of CO was also influenced by the production of mass fraction HO2. Then in the DNS study, it was observed that deflagration waves plays an important role in the evolution of heat release rate. With increase in temperature fluctuation, it was observed that the peak mean heat release rate decreases and increases the spreading of heat release rate. For the case of different correlation of temperature and composition field, it was observed that spontaneous mode of ignition plays an important role in the evolution of heat release rate in case of negatively correlated temperature and composition field. Further, in the modeling studies, the first order closure of premix CMC model was used, and it was observed that for low level of temperature fluctuation, the first order closure for premix CMC model agreed well with the DNS result. However, for high level of temperature fluctuation, there was over prediction. And also we have studied different definition of progress variable, and it was found that the predicted heat release rate was almost similar if we consider different definition of progress variable. With this I thank you.
We have time for questions. I'm Sanjeev from IIT Kanpur. My question is regarding premix CMC.
Yeah.
So, can you comment the double conditioning or second order closure, which would be the benefits? Sure.
When you consider second order closure, then you have what you do. You have the reaction source term.
Yeah.
Then you expand in terms of Taylor series expansion. So there you get what different covariances, and that you account in the second order closure. So number of equations that you have to solve would be much more. So it will be computationally expensive. That is one drawback with second order CMC, but it may provide you accurate prediction. In double conditioning, instead of progress variable, along with the progress variable, you also have to condition over the mixer fraction. So there is a trade-off, which is computationally more efficient, but I would suggest that you can try the double conditioning approach. But the problem with double conditioning approach is that the terms that you will get, there will be several unclosed terms. Again, modeling of those terms will be very difficult, like cross dissipation rate with respect to mixer fraction or progress variable. Still now we don't have any model for that. So how to model that? That's also an open question. Okay.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Okay, so let's thank our speaker once again.
Thank you.